Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of the Climate and Nature Summit. My name is Sue Adams, and we really hope you've enjoyed the week. You've learned lots about the environment. Today, we're going to talk about taking action, and I'm going to teach you how to develop an idea into an action so that you, your classmates, and your school can have a successful action project that has a positive impact on the environment. So what is activism and why is it important? So activism is a process of campaigning and creating awareness about an issue in order to bring about political or social change. Anyone can be an activist. There are many ways to be an activist in school and in the community. Some of these ways to create awareness and be an activist is doing things, choosing an issue that's important to you and spreading awareness about it. So you can do this on social media, you can write blogs, spread information through videos, through websites, you can sign petitions, you can join organized street protests, you can write to your politician, or you can choose an idea from your school that's important to you. For example, like having a plastic-free school, or a biodiversity garden, or having a sustainable transport in school. You can vote, you can run a campaign, you can run art competitions. There are many ways to take action. The most important thing is that you choose an idea, you choose an issue within your community that is important to you, something that you care about, if it is to do with ocean plastic pollution, or if you want to improve the energy or the water in your school. Choose an issue and then choose ways in which you can create awareness and build a platform to spread awareness about that issue. So, in order to run a campaign, the first thing that we need to do is actually choose an idea of what project that we're going to work with. Once we've decided what the area is we want to build our campaign on, we can then build our project around it. So for example, if we wanted to create a project about a plastic-free school, we would then choose the project, get a team together, and then we will, I'm going to show you now how we can build on that idea. And our objective is for a plastic-free school, and we can build a campaign around that to achieve our objective. It's a set of tasks that work together to achieve the objective of a plastic-free school. And we'll do this through this exercise called Sailing Away. So if your teacher stops the video for a minute, and if you draw this boat, the sun and the clouds onto the classroom, and as we talk through the video, you can adapt your ideas onto your boat on the board with your teacher, because you know your school best. And I'll give you an example here of how to run a campaign with a plastic-free school. So to start with, we need to lay the groundwork. If we know we've chosen our issue of a plastic-free school, then we need to identify lots of tasks that we need to divide up between the team in order to achieve our objective of going plastic-free school. So the first really important thing to do is to identify the stakeholders within our project. So who do we need on board to help us make a plastic-free school? So we need our principal, our teacher, our staff, our PTA, our board, our cleaners, our canteen. So these are the people that we need to contact, that we need to get on board in order for us to have a successful project. The next thing that we look at, what avenues do we have in school that we can use to create awareness about? Education is obviously one of the most really important deciders in creating a successful campaign, because you want to tell people why going plastic free is really important and why plastic is really bad for the environment. Once people are educated and they understand why, they're more likely then to get on board and join you and help you be successful with your plastic free goal. So for example, in school, can we create awareness through social media posts or on any social media like Instagram or Twitter or Facebook? Can we make videos to send around the school? Can we do presentations? Is there a Christmas fair or a sports fair or parents even coming up where we could take a table and we could educate people about these issues and try and persuade them to help us become plastic free? So it's also important to have a look at some potential problems that may arise within the campaign, because if we identify them now, we will be able to come up with ways to overcome them before the problems happen. So possible problems could be if the principal says no, if it doesn't agree to your campaign idea, you might need some money. COVID restrictions might be an issue as well, or perhaps down here, what would happen if students have certain tasks to follow through, and if students are asked to do work and they don't follow through on that work. So it's important to have that discussion and see and understand and identify ways to come over these issues. Next, we need to lay the groundwork and look at ideas. So if our objective is to go plastic free, how do we do that? What set of actions could we do to spread awareness about the issue with our principal here and all our stakeholders on these platforms? What tasks could we fulfill to make this happen? So, for example, we need to get permission from the principal. So do we email him or her, or do we ask for a meeting? Could we do surveys and petitions with the students and the teachers and the parents to get their support? Could we do art competitions to educate people and create awareness about the issue? Could we talk to local businesses outside school? Maybe they'd be supportive of our campaign. How do we measure the problem? Do we need to measure the problem as a starting point? So, for example, with plastic, do we need to audit the plastic in the school? Do we need to do a bin audit? Or if we're doing a biodiversity project, do we need to go out and see our baseline of biodiversity in the area? So you need to get a baseline of where you're starting at the beginning of the issue that you've chosen, and then you build on it because you're trying to improve that particular issue. So this sailing away activity is what your teacher will draw on the board. You'll stop the video and you will do exactly like I showed you in the last slide. So you'll identify the stakeholders for your project who will benefit from the project, identify platforms to raise awareness, and you'll identify any possible problems, and then you'll brainstorm the tasks. So you'll develop your project from your idea into actions, and you'll have a list of tasks to fulfill that can be divided out between the team, and you will then each have weekly jobs to achieve your objective of a plastic-free school, or whatever it is, the project that you have decided to do. So once you've identified what the tasks are, it's important to split up into teams. So you will all have different strengths. Some of you might be really good at art, some of you might be really good at research, and some of you might be really good public speakers. So have a look at the set of tasks you've chosen and put yourselves into teams. So for example, in this one, if this is your research team, so that's auditing your biodiversity or auditing your bin or auditing your transport. Okay, so we'll say that this team one is research. Team two might be surveys and petitions. So that would involve writing a survey and writing a petition and distributing it and collecting all that information. The third one could be the art team, and the art team would maybe talk to the other teachers about maybe running a whole school competition. How can you create awareness through art? Can you do a competition about if we are doing plastic, about plastic pollution and plastic solutions, or if it's a project about biodiversity, how can we run a project maybe about Irish biodiversity and global biodiversity? Then you might have a team who are particularly good at making videos, and they could make videos, or they could do posts and put them out to the parents, so the parents also understand what you're trying to achieve. That's another one there, videos. And then you're going to have other teams as well. Like maybe you might have days of action, for example. You might want to do a litter pick, or you might want to have a building day if you're building something. So identify teams, and then within your teams, use this sheet, which is also attached to the link below, and design and decide what tasks you're going to run within that team. So we all have the same objective together, and that's to go plastic free. But within that main big objective, there are lots of different parts. All of these parts will work together to produce a plastic free school, but you're all doing different roles. So just to give you an example and some ideas maybe of some of the things that you could do to create awareness in schools. So you could have a day of action. You could invite the whole school, dedicated to whatever topic that you choose. You could run presentations. You could invite speakers in. You could get them to watch a documentary or a movie that relates to that topic. You could get other teachers involved and get them trying to help with the project as well. Try get every class in your school to do something. Create a project together, involve your board of management, your teachers, and everybody within the community, and ask for help. If there's any parents or influencers that are particularly interested in your topic, get in touch and get them on board. So this is an example of a plastic-free school, how we could divide up the teams. So this is going to be your research team in team 1. So you'll all have different objectives within your groups, even though you have the same end objective. So for example, this group 1, they do a bin audit, then they'd set a date to run an event, they'd speak to the principal, and they'd look at maybe implementing a school plastic-free policy. Group 2 would be art, and they'd run competitions. They'd run poster competitions. They might design an environmental logo, and they might run workshops about recycling or crafts. Group 3 then would be presentations, and they'll contact the stakeholders in your project. So your principal and your board of education, they'll talk to students and they'll spread awareness for you straight face to face. Group 4 could be surveys and petitions, so they could contact parents, they could write them, and they'll collate the data and they'll present the information as well. Group 5, again, depending on the topic that you choose, you can go to the canteen to do an assessment. We're talking about ridding plastic from your school here. So having a look in school, again, auditing the problem, meeting with the manager, meeting with the management, and making sure that they get on board with your project. And group 6 is then social media. So this group will create awareness through the media channels that you have accessible to you in school. So very important before you get started is researching your topic, researching what the problem is, but most importantly, what the solution is. So although you want to educate people about the problem and create awareness about it, it's really important that you also motivate people with the solution so that they understand, firstly, exactly what the problem is, but secondly, what they can do about it. There's your art team again, how they could create awareness. Again, getting all the people in school involved. So if you're in one class, a good way to create awareness is to invite the other classes within school to get on board too. Presentations, you'll know in your class who's good at presentations, or maybe somebody wants to learn how to be better at public speaking. Get a presentation together, probably a PowerPoint that's educational and interesting. You could also run a quiz as well if you'd like to after the presentation to see do people learn information while you were giving the presentation, and create awareness, give it to teachers, give it to students, and give it to people outside the community. Maybe you could run it on a parents' evening as well. Social media, again, it comes back to the platforms that you have in school and what avenues do you have in school to create awareness. What could you use that's already active in school? So do you use email or Facebook or Instagram? And can you get permission to put some posts about your particular environmental topic in terms of the problem and the solutions on these channels to create awareness for your audience? This is an example of a survey and how you can collate and gather information to assess if people will support your campaign. So ask them, do you think this particular issue is a problem? Would you support your school with this issue? Do you have any skills that could help us reach our objective of going plastic free, or whatever the project may be? Days of action are always great to spread awareness and to get everybody on board. So you could do beach cleans, litter picks, movie days, quizzes, cahoots, treasure hunts, or bake sales. Any ideas at all that can give you a platform to springboard your issue educationally on topic. So to recap, choose a project that you're passionate about, an issue that is within your school and you'd like to take action on. Get informed and do your research, learn all about the issue, the problems, and the solutions. Create a campaign to create awareness, identify your stakeholders who you need to have on board, identify the platforms that you can use, be an influencer with the students within your school, influence your parents, and influence your teachers too. Set a date for an event. A timeline is important, so you have your list of tasks. If you have a date that you want to achieve your objective of, that ensures that you have to work to time. Get a team together, get friends, get your classmates to help you. The more people that are on board, the more movement you will have behind the campaign. And if you care about something, don't be a bystander. Take action. Use your voice and record your project. Record any activity that you've done so you can measure your success. So best of luck. I'm really looking forward to seeing your action projects soon.